Again, demo time. Now what we'll do is we'll create a VPC with two subnets, one private, one public. We'll launch an instance in public and private subnet. We should be able to SSH into INS21 from anywhere. That means we are saying that we'll have to create NACL and security groups rule. Instance 2 should allow SSH only from instance 1. We'll have to create another set of security groups and NACLs using CloudFormation template. And we'll get the following input from user. We'll take the VPC CIDR block, CIDR block for the public and private subnet, the EC2 instance type, and of course we'll be using CloudFormation to automate the deployment. I'll also show you different functions in this demo. I'll show you how to use finding map, how to use get attribute function, and pseudo parameters like AWS account ID, AWS region, etc. in this demo. As part of this demo, we'll be creating these resources. So this diagram is not an architectural diagram. This shows the resources which we'll be creating in the CloudFormation template. The first one would be a VPC. We'll create the VPC as we did in our console, and then we'll create an internet gateway and attach that internet gateway with the VPC. Under that VPC, we'll create one public subnet and one private subnet. Then we'll create some routes and route tables so that the public subnet is routed via internet gateway. For private subnet, we'll create a NAT gateway and attach the NAT gateway to the private subnet. Also, we'll create a private route which will be attached to the private subnet and will be routed to NAT gateway, which in turn will be routed to the internet gateway. Then we'll create resources or EC2 instances to be launched in each of the subnets. One EC2 instance in public subnet, another EC2 instance in private subnet. Then we'll create security groups, and those security groups will be attached to the EC2 instances. Security group for the EC2 instance in public subnet will allow SSH from everyone, that means SSH from internet. TCP protocol 22 will be opened for 0000/0. And security group for EC2 instances in private subnet will allow SSH from public subnet, or TCP port 22 from the CIDR range of public subnet. Let's go ahead and create the CFT. I've already coded a few components, for example, parameters and mappings. So in the parameters block, I'm taking the instance type, which will be defaulted to t2.micro, and allowed values are micro, nano, small of type t2. We are also taking key pair name as parameter and the CIDR range of VPC, public subnet and private subnet. Now this is the mappings block. This is the mappings component. This is the table I was talking about. Here I want to get the AMI based on region and operating system architecture. So I have mentioned only 5 regions. If you want, you can mention all the regions. So as I have mentioned 5 regions only, this CloudFormation template can be run only in these regions. But this is just a demo. Typically you'll add all the regions. So what I'm saying here is, this is the name of the mapping. This is the first level key, which is the region name. And the second level key is the operating system architecture. And we have included both 32 and 64-bit. So if this CloudFormation template is run in region U West 1 and the operating system architecture is 64-bit, then this AMI would be selected. If this CloudFormation template is run in North Virginia region and operating system architecture is 32-bit, then this AMI would be selected. Next is the resources block. The first resource which I want to create is the VPC. This is the VPC and its type is AWS ::EC2 ::VPC. The CIDR block is referencing the VPC CIDR parameter, and I'm tagging it also. Similarly, we have done the exact same thing in console also. We just mentioned the CIDR block and VPC tag and it got created. The next two resources are internet gateway and the attachment of internet gateway with the VPC. Now this is the resource for internet gateway. I'm creating the internet gateway with this tags. Now if you see here, I have introduced one more parameter called depends on. So it is saying that this resource depends on the resource AWS Foundation VPC, which is this one, which means that this resource will not be created until and unless the VPC is created. It is not necessary to mention the depends on parameter. I just wanted to show you, even if you don't mention, CloudFormation will automatically take care of the dependency resolution, or CloudFormation will automatically resolve all the dependencies of the resources. Next two resources are the public subnet and private subnet, whose type is subnet and it depends on AWS Foundation VPC. I can remove this one also. This is not needed, but I wanted to show you that you can use this parameter if you want. Now this public subnet has multiple properties. The first one is the CIDR block. Now the CIDR block is referencing the public subnet CIDR parameter, and I'm saying that the EC2 instances launched in this public subnet will get public IP addresses by default. Now, of course, tags, and it is created in the VPC, which is referencing our AWS Foundation VPC. One thing which is different here is the availability zone, or AZ. We have to mention the AZ of the subnet. Where do we want to create the subnet in? Now if you see, I am using the function or the intrinsic function select. I talked about get AZs function, which will list all the AZs available in the region. Which region? It is referencing the pseudo parameter AWS : region. So wherever you run this CloudFormation template, this parameter will pick up the region automatically. You don't have to pass that in separately. This portion from here to here, it says that get all the AZs for this regions, or list all the AZs in this region, and 0 says that select the first AZ only. So what this entire function select is doing, it is selecting the first AZ from the list of AZs in the region where this CloudFormation template is running. This is similar to private subnet also. The type is subnet and it depends on the VPC creation. You can remove this as well. In properties, the AZ selection is done using the function select, which is selecting the second AZ in the list of availability zones in the region where this CloudFormation template is running. The CIDR block is referencing the private subnet CIDR PALM, and it is being created in the VPC with logical name AWS Foundation VPC. Next two resources are NAT Gateway Elastic IP and the NAT Gateway itself. You already know what is the purpose of NAT Gateway. If you have EC2 instances in private subnet and you want internet connectivity from those EC2 instances to internet, you need NAT Gateway. The connectivity is only one way. The EC2 instances can send requests out to internet, but internet cannot send any request into those EC2 instances. The first thing is the NAT Gateway Elastic IP, whose type is of course Elastic IP. It depends on this logical parameter, which is AWS Foundation Internet Gateway Attachment. That means it will be created only when the attachment of VPC and the Internet Gateway is done. Now its domain is VPC. Then the NAT Gateway itself, the type is NAT Gateway and it has multiple properties. The first one is allocation ID. The allocation ID has to be taken from the NAT Gateway Elastic IP. It basically attaches the Elastic IP with the NAT Gateway, and the subnet ID where this NAT Gateway should be created. Of course, the NAT Gateway should be created in the public subnet, and then its corresponding tag. Then I'm creating the public route table along with public route. These are the two resources which I'm creating. The first one is the route table, which is being created in the VPC itself. If you notice, there's no route here. The route is being mentioned here, which says the destination CIDR block is internet and the gateway ID is internet gateway, and the route table ID is actually this route table. I have created this route table which will route traffic to the internet. Similarly, I am creating route table for private subnet. The traffic within the VPC will be routed by default, but I'm adding one more route here if you see, that is requests out to internet, and I'm mentioning the NAT Gateway ID. Then the resources to associate these route tables with its corresponding subnets. The first resource is AWS Foundation Public Subnet Route Table. I'm associating the route table with public subnet, and the second one is association of the private route table with private subnet. Then the public subnet security group, the type is security group of course. I'm allowing inbound request from internet on protocol TCP and port 22. That means I'm allowing SSH from anywhere in the world. For the request outbound, I'm allowing SSH out to the private subnet, and it is being created in the VPC, AWS Foundation VPC. Then the security group for EC2 instances in the private subnet, the type is security group, group name and description. Here I'm only allowing inbound SSH request from the public subnet. That's it. And it is being created in the VPC, AWS Foundation VPC. And then finally the EC2 instance, which you already know. So this EC2 instance would be launched in the public subnet and will be associated with the public subnet security group. And the second EC2 instance would be launched in the private subnet and will be associated with the private subnet security group. I've saved this CFT as 2-tier architecture and I have already uploaded this CFT in the S3 bucket. Let's go ahead and create a stack. Now this stack has multiple resources. Let's see how this works. Click on create stack and specify the URL. The name of the stack is 2-tier architecture. Instance type is t2.micro. I could have chosen any one of them, but it has been defaulted to t2.micro. I'll select the key pair name and then the CIDR ranges for VPC, public subnet and private subnet. These are the parameters I'm passing. Click on next and then click on create stack. Let's see how it works. Before that, you already know what this overview is and we do not have any output yet, but this time it will create a lot of resources. These are the events and the template is the CloudFormation template which we have uploaded, and these are the parameters which we have passed. We have not given any tags yet. We could have given, but we have not. If you keep on noticing the events, the VPC creation is done and then the private and public subnet creation is also done. Then CloudFormation created the security groups for private and public subnet EC2 instances. The internet gateway creation and attachment are also done. The route tables have been created as well for both public and private subnet. This is the logical ID. This is nothing but the logical resource ID which we provided in the CFT. Elastic IP for NAT gateway has been created. Now it is creating the NAT gateway itself. Now if you see the stack creation is complete, let us go through the sequence of events. At first it created the VPC, followed by the security groups for private and public subnets, then internet gateway and the private and public subnet itself. The attachment of internet gateway was also done. Then CloudFormation created the resources of public and private route tables. Then the NAT gateway elastic IP, the attachment of VPC with internet gateway, creation of public and private route table. Then the NAT gateway elastic IP, NAT gateway, both the EC2 instances in public and private subnet respectively, creation of the routes, and finally the architecture creation was completed. Let's see whether it was done properly or not. So this is the VPC, AWS Foundation CFT VPC, which we created using CFT. And this is the VPC with the CIDR range. It must have created two subnets, which is private subnet, public subnet with these two CIDR ranges. Let's see the route tables. We have public route table and private route table. In public route table, we have, of course, local route, which we did not provide, but it is created by default. And route to internet via internet gateway. The public subnet is associated with this route table. For private route table, the private subnet has been associated with local routes and internet routes. So internet traffic will go via the NAT gateway. Then the internet gateway, we have one elastic IP for NAT gateway. Then the NAT gateway was also created. Then one default and two manual security groups, which is allowing SSH from everyone and allowing outbound SSH to private subnet. For the private security group, the name is wrong here. The tag basically is wrong. I should have changed it. But anyway, for security group of EC2 instances in the private subnet, it is allowing SSH only from public subnet. Network ACL, we have the default network ACL because we did not create any network ACL as such. So it is allowing everything. Let's see the EC2 instances now. So these are the two EC2 instances which have been launched as part of CloudFormation. Both of them have been associated with public IP address. Now let's see the security group attachment. For public instance, the security group attachment is for public subnet, and for private EC2 instance, the security group for private subnet has been attached. So everything is fine. Let's test it out whether it is working properly or not. So I'm able to SSH into the EC2 instance which has been launched in the public subnet. I'm trying to do the same with the EC2 instance which has been launched in private subnet. I should not be allowed to do so. I'm inside of the EC2 instance in public subnet and I have copied the private key here. Let's try to SSH into the EC2 instance which is in private subnet. So it successfully allowed me to do so. So using CloudFormation, I was able to launch a two-tier architecture. Now one interesting thing to notice here, the tags. All the resources have the tags, key value pairs, which we mentioned in the CFT itself. It also has some other tags here. It has something called a logical ID, it has a stack ID and a stack name. That means it tells you that this resource was launched using CloudFormation. This is the name of the CloudFormation stack, and this is the ARN of the CloudFormation stack, and this is the logical ID in the CloudFormation stack itself. Now, if you notice in the VPC also you have the same thing. You should have the same thing in subnets and other resources as well. These stacks are very useful to find out which CloudFormation stack a particular resource belongs to. In the CloudFormation console for this particular stack, in the resources tab, it will tell you which resources have been created as part of this stack creation. So it has NAT gateway, Elastic IP, attachment of VPC and internet gateway, the VPC itself, public private subnets along with its route tables, EC2 instances, and etc. Now if I go ahead and delete this stack, all these resources would be automatically deleted. We don't have to do anything. So if you delete the stack, everything will be deleted. So there's something called deletion policy. If you mention deletion policy for a particular resource, that resource would not be deleted. Either it would be retained or its snapshot would be taken based on the resource type. In the events tab, it will tell you which resources have already been deleted. Whichever you see delete complete, all those resources have been deleted. Once the entire stack is deleted, all resources would be gone. I have uploaded this CFT in the resources portion of Udemy. You can go ahead and take a look. Thanks for watching.